My name is Cale Breakville, and I'm going to be talking about Johnny Manziel and his football career. Johnny Manziel is a name that a lot of people know, but Johnny Football is known by all football fans around the nation. Today, I'm going to tell you all about one of, if not, the greatest college quarterbacks to play the sport. During Johnny Manziel's senior season of high school, he compiled of 228 of 347 passes for 3,609 yards with 45 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He also had 170 carries for 1,674 yards and 30 touchdowns. He won the Mr. Texas Football Award in 2010, and Manziel was highly recruited out of high school. In addition to Texas A&M, which he committed to, he received offers from Baylor, Colorado State, Iowa State, Louisiana Tech, Oregon, and many more. During his first season at A&M, he broke several long-standing records. The first to go was Archie Manning's total offense record of 540 yards, which had stood for 43 years. Manziel threw for 557 yards against Arkansas, breaking the record. He passed for 3,419 yards and averaged 284.9 yards per game. That ranks him as number 20 among the most productive passers of 2012. His touchdown to interception ratio was 24-8, and his passer rating was 155.85. Manziel also rushed for 1,181 yards and 19 touchdowns, averaging 98.42 yards per game, and is the 32nd most productive rusher that year out of everybody, not just quarterbacks. Naturally, Johnny Football became a household name, and for his efforts, he was named SEC Freshman of the Year and a Davey O'Brien winner. In 2013, Johnny Manziel passed for 4,114 yards while rushing for 759 yards, throwing for 37 touchdowns and averaging 316.5 yards a game. He threw for only 13 interceptions that year, but also threw for 37 passing touchdowns. Manziel was the first freshman to win the Heisman Trophy ever, capturing the award his redshirt year on the strength of remarkable performances on the ground and in the air. He joined John David Crow as one of the 2 Aggies to win the Heisman. Now that you know all about his achievements, let's talk about some of the setbacks and controversy things he was involved in. When becoming one of the most popular names in America, you're going to get introduced to many wrong things. The one thing Manziel found most fun and interesting was partying. Ever since Manziel was the most popular man on campus, he had to be moved to all online classes. This was not a great thing for Manziel. He would go out and party every single night. He said he would play better if he partied the night before. Manziel would never watch any film on his opponents, and he would just go out on the field and use his raw athleticism. He was put in the spotlight several times, having to be ushered out by bouncers or security several times at bars and nightclubs. Later in his college career, Manziel got caught in yet another scandal, breaking an NCAA rule about using his name and likeness to receive money. He was accused of selling autographs and merchandise under the table. Manziel said he didn't take any money for autographs until after he'd won the Heisman in 2012, when he was approached by a man who offered him $3,000 for an autograph. In an interview with Barstool, Manziel said he started selling his signature in 2013 and made about $33,000. Johnny Manziel says, "We're doing it all sneaky. We don't want to get caught. We're trying to learn from everybody else who got caught." Manziel was then drafted by Cleveland with the 22nd pick in the 2014 draft. Coming off a pretty good college career, Manziel would play in just 14 games in 2 seasons with the Browns, making 8 starts. He had a 2-6 record in those starts. For his career, he threw for 1,675 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. 2 years after drafting Manziel, Cleveland released him and moved on. After that horrendous NFL career, he would go down as one of the biggest NFL busts ever. By the time Manziel pulled off the upset road win over Alabama in 2012, it was clear Johnny Football was special, the latest signal calling rockstar SEC quarterback. It wasn't just that Manziel became the greatest Aggie football player in generations. It was that Manziel arrived at absolutely perfect timing, taking A&M football to its highest end of the year rankings since 1956. Johnny Manziel was the main reason A&M is where they are now. A&M has been a top 25 team in the past 2 decades. Texas A&M now has some of the top facilities in college football, all because Manziel brought them to spotlight. Johnny Manziel may not be remembered by his professional career, but he will always be known as the life of the party and one of the greatest quarterbacks to touch a football field. Thank you for listening.